first thing I want to say in this video is nobody is going to say that the engine swaps were a terrible addition to Gran Turismo 7. People have been begging for swaps since as early as Gran Turismo 5, and it's completely understandable as it provides a lot more replay value and is a very nice reward for achieving collector level 50. While the general sentiment on engine swaps has been overwhelmingly positive for the most part, I see the perception on them starting to shift a little bit over the last year or so, and the negative effect that certain engine swap cars are having on open lobbies as well as the balance in single player races is basically impossible to ignore at this point. Now, I think I speak on behalf of most of the community that still plays this game when I say this. Taking a sleeper car or a car that maxes out at 300, 400, or even 500 horsepower and adding a swap that puts it in and around 1000 horsepower, that is cool. Taking a car that is unable to compete in some of the higher horsepower or performance points bracket and giving it a fighting chance against some of the best supercars and hypercars in the game is a very fair reward who's willing to see it through with their starter car, and that to me is the magical part about having swaps in the game. But like I said, over the last little while things have changed a little bit. Polyphony Digital started adding more engine swaps to cars that already had an extreme amount of horsepower, and while this didn't strike any red flags to me when these engine swaps first came out, the effect they're having on the balance of the game currently is extremely concerning. It's something I think they should look at when adding engine swaps in the future. In particular, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, I'm calling out this particular swap. It's the Bugatti Chiron W16 swap. Adding the Bugatti Chiron W16 swap was, in my opinion, one of the worst ideas, especially when applied on cars like the Nissan GTR, the Nissan GTR Nismo, the Audi R8 V10, and the Lamborghini Huracan. The common theme with all of these cars, they are four-wheel drive. So before these engine swaps came into the fray, there was a very nice meta around maxed out street car racing. Now, I know that sounds extremely niche to some of you, but you would be shocked how many people were willing to run road cars maxed out, balls to the walls as fast as they can go, and you didn't have to just drive one car. There wasn't a single meta car. There were many different options if you had the skill to drive them after the 1.31 update. Cars like the Lamborghini Aventador and Aventador SV were very strong. Cars like the GTR and the GTR Nismo were very strong and popular, and those were probably the most popular options in general. But you had the Ferrari F8 Tributo, the Ferrari Enzo, the Chevrolet Corvette C7 ZR1 before its handling got nerfed, the Lamborghini Gallardo, the Audi R8 V10 before it ended up getting the Bugatti swap. All of these cars created a diverse meta along with many others that could compete all around that 900 to 1000 horsepower range. Nowadays, it's simply just the Bugatti swapped Audi R8 and the Bugatti swapped GTRs. And while this doesn't sound like such a massive issue, having an 1800 horsepower four-wheel drive car eliminates the possibility of any rear-wheel drive car being able to compete at that same power level. The more horsepower you add to these four-wheel drive cars, the rear-wheel drive cars, even if they do get the same swap, are going to never be able to compete. On top of the fact that stylistically, all the fastest road cars in the game having the exact same engine configuration is just extremely boring. Whenever I see someone in a Tokyo lobby driving the GTR with the Bugatti engine, I can't help but roll my eyes and think that they're 12 years old. And while this is partially my own fault for caring that much, I do think it's extremely obnoxious and it limits the amount of lobbies that people can enjoy and have fun in racing those higher tier road cars. The obvious solution to an experienced player is, well, to either ban engine swaps or put a horsepower limit on the lobby. With that being said, as someone who likes to go around and meet new people and join lobbies, not everybody does this. Not everybody has a deep understanding of the game and knows to do these sorts of things when they set up their lobbies. Therefore, the opportunity to go in and have a good race with somebody and meet them because of these car discrepancies, because people love using meta cars, it's going to ruin the lobby every single time someone joins with one of these vehicles. So moral of the story, I don't feel like every single car needs an engine swap. If a car already has 750 or 800 horsepower maxed out with its stock engine, it doesn't need another engine swap, and I think it does more to hurt the game than to help it. Engine swaps should be used as a tool to take maybe your more starter cars or your mid-tier sports cars and to bring them up to a level in and around some of the best supercars in the game. The way that they've been adding them recently now, especially with these Porsche GT3 engines with the 911 turbo engine, making those cars the meta on all high-speed cornering track, it just seems to be going in a negative direction and making the game more one-dimensional than what they intended with the engine swaps. Outside of the Bugatti engines, another major issue I have with the engine swaps is the fact that they break the performance point system. On certain cars, this has been a thing since the game has come out, which is extremely annoying. I think of every single PP level that people race in on a regular basis. 600 PP dominated by the swapped Cappuccino, the swapped Honda Beat, and the swapped High Ace fan. 700 pp is dominated by the swapped Silvia Q. 800 pp is dominated by the Bugatti swapped Audi R8 and the Bugatti swapped Lamborghini Huracan. And there's really nothing you can do to beat those cars with an experienced driver behind the wheel. And the solution might be to ban engine swaps in your lobby or single player races. But all that does is it makes it so that the people that are using fair engine swaps that aren't detrimental to the balance of the game, now they don't get to use those cars that they otherwise could have, and everybody loses as a result. And the last major issue, in my opinion, is the fuel tank of the car is tied to the engine that is in the car and not the car itself. Now, this is something that most people know if you race in the single player scene. If you have an engine swapped road car with a race car engine, you're going to be getting 4 or 5 times better fuel economy than you would with a regular road car engine. In the context of racing in lobbies or maybe a league where you create a custom balance of performance, it's especially impossible to balance these cars with fuel consumption enabled because certain cars are going to be way better on fuel than others. I remember taking my swapped S2000, which mind you isn't a super overpowered car, into one of those Group 4 single player races, and I only made it 2 laps on fuel where my competition could make it sick. I feel like fundamentally this is something that should be changed. Maybe add an option for a larger fuel tank in the tuning shop. This would make the balance between engine swap cars, non-engine swap cars, engine swap cars with race car engines. It would just make everything much more balanced for those kind of races. Most lobbies I see nowadays, nobody even runs tire wear and fuel consumption because they understand the inherent issues and balancing problems already, but I could see adding this as an option to increase your fuel tank capacity as a welcome addition to GT7. Another fix I see, because I know they're not going to take out some of these really powerful engine swaps that we talked about earlier, is maybe adding an option to ban certain engine swaps in lobbies rather than just all of them together. That way, if someone's running their Pagani swapped Toyota Supra, or their Mazda 787B engine in their RX-7, or their Group B rally car engine in their Lancer Evo, these people can still participate in lobbies against other unswapped road cars, while the Bugatti swap cars, or maybe the Maverick swap Cayman, you could decide and customize which engines are going to be allowed and which aren't. This would be a very welcome addition for lobby racers. I guarantee you this would be one of the most used functions in open lobbies for many different communities of people. And lastly, let's quit the idea that every single car in the game needs to have an engine swap. There are so many cars in the game that are extremely powerful already and have a massive potential that even far exceeds Group 3 race cars. Not everything needs to have 1800 horsepower, and not every single car in the meta conversation should have the exact same power plant, because that is going to make the game extremely boring in my opinion. If you guys do enjoy videos like this or my yap sessions, be sure to leave a like, comment, and also subscribe, which helps me get this video out to more people. Even if you disagree with some of my opinions, go into the comment section and state your opinion and share with others. I always greatly appreciate that and will respond to every comment. So without letting this video drag on too long, guys, I hope you all have a fantastic night. It's been your boy Dude, and I'm out. Peace.